Welcome back to JDM Legends, presented by Turn 14 Distribution, where today we're finally going to show you the real wheels on this car. How many sets of wheels have we tried on this car, everyone? I can't even remember. There's obviously these Works. We tried on the Flexus wheels from Augment. We tried on those Koenigs that we just got.
BBS LMs.
BBSs. So that's like 4 sets of wheels we've already tried on here. And yes, we do finally have our new Forever wheels that are gonna blow your mind. But I mean, I'll give you a little peek here, but that's all I'm gonna show you for now, everyone, because this is YouTube and we need you to get to the end of the video so that the algorithm is happy with our performance. So before we can put these on the car, we're actually going to do an upgrade on the front brakes. So let's get this car in the air, these wheels off there, and get to work.
And here we have our brake upgrade that consists of freshly rebuilt Toyota Supra calipers. I got these off of Rock Auto, and if you've been living under a rock and don't know what Rock Auto is, they are pretty much the #1 leader for online parts. And what I really love about their site is it's like so easy to use. You go through, you click the model, the make, and they just list everything out. It's such a great site. And of course, the pricing there is also amazing. These, believe it or not, are $110 each, and that's with a $40 core charge. So if I was sending a core back, these would be just around $60, which is incredible. And of course, these are gonna make for a great upgrade because these are 4-piston rather than the 2 pistons that are on the car right now. Same thing with the rotors. These are like a premium OE brand, and the brake pads as well. I also got a Supra sticker that we're gonna put on here. But first, what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna have to paint these. I wanna paint these black, make them look nice before we put that sticker on. For paint, we have a VHT caliper paint in gloss black. I figured gloss black is gonna be the nicest color. And you can see, I recently purchased these like little rubber plugs, and they've been coming in handy for such jobs like this, or when you have a bit of a leak and you need to plug up a fitting or something like that. Like, they're really awesome. So what I'm gonna do here is bust out the green masking tape, and you can see it's kind of tricky to come in with a razor blade and try to cut this line. A recent tip that I've learned is what you do is you just take a blunt hammer and then you just hammer on the edge, and it gives you like the perfect outline as such. Look at that. And then you can kind of like pull this off. See, I screwed up a little bit there, so I'll just come in, tap it a little bit more. And there you have it. Now you've got like look at that, perfect edge along there. All right, these are now fully masked off, and you wipe them off with acetone. So it's time for a first light coat. They say 2 light coats and then 1 medium coat within the first hour. So our first coat is on. Some of you are probably wondering what I'm using here, and it's a really neat little trigger that you put onto an aerosol can. It kind of just like lightens the load, makes it work more like a spray gun. Super cool. I don't think, this one is by 3M. I don't think 3M makes them anymore, but I'll leave a link in the description to Amazon that has something very, very similar to this. So these are gonna now take a bunch of time to dry, so I think it's time we move on to the rear brakes. I had every intention of doing the turbo upgrade in the rear, which includes a dual piston caliper and a slightly larger rotor. However, the dual piston calipers are not available. Rock Auto did not have any. I looked around, there's a shortage on them. The cores, I assume, aren't available. So I turned to Rock Auto once again and bought a premium rotor and a set of proper brake pads just to refresh the rear. I don't think it's a huge thing that we're not going with the bigger brake upgrade here, as most of the braking is done up front, and that's really where we wanted that 4-piston turbo setup. Fresh pads and rotors are on, so it's now time to get back to the front. They've had a day to dry now, which means we can put that Supra sticker on and clear coat them. And here is our painted caliper. As you can see, I don't necessarily love this weird textured finish on it. I guess it's just a byproduct of them when they refurbish these calipers. And here's our sticker. All right, so it looks like this thing is centered properly. There we go. It's always difficult to get it started. And bam, that's looking good, DP.
It does look good.
And now I'm using the same VHT caliper paint, but this is the clear coat that's going to cover up the sticker and make everything look like new, we hope. And there is our finished product. As you can see, the clear coat does add a nice level of shine to the caliper, and this is going to look pretty good up here. One thing I just realized is we are going to need to trim the backing plate a little bit because this isn't going to bolt on. I did actually already bend this out for the larger rotor. I didn't want to cut it off. I think it still works as an OE piece with that other rotor on here. It's just like right along the edge of it. But anyway, so this has got to be trimmed out here and then we can bolt all this together.
Now that those brakes are on and looking good, it is time to give this car an alignment. But before we do that, we also want to fix the ride height because this car is just sitting way too low. And to do that properly, we want a level surface. So the floors in here all slope towards the drains. We've had a hell of a time trying to set ride height and do any kind of alignment in here because we don't have a level surface. To fix that, we went to BG Racing, a company out of the UK that makes really nice quality motorsports grade equipment for chassis setup, alignment work, all that kind of stuff. So these are their stands, which you can see have adjustable feet on the bottom, which allow me to level them. These are also their easy sweep caster plates, slip plates. We made our own slip plates in the rear. We don't need caster in the rear, but we want the slip so that when you lower the car onto the stands, the wheels can move through their natural sweep. It also helps unbind any suspension in the bushings and so on, so it lets the car settle properly. To do that, we're using BG Racing's laser leveling system. Pretty simple. You can see we've got a laser in the middle here on a level surface. It's got bubble levels on it so I can make sure this is level. And then I shine the light at each of these stands onto their targets, which are also leveled using a little 2D bubble level on the top there. You can see I'm on mark number 2 on this corner. And if we swing it over here, we can see I'm also on mark number 2 on here, and the same on the rear. So that's how I got it all level. And wow, what a difference that made, because there's a big slope here. I was not aware just how big the slope was until I spent the time to set this up. And this does take some time. I spent at least an hour setting this up properly. As you can see, the car's now down on the stands, and you'll also notice that it is sitting quite a bit higher. I've raised the ride height, both front and rear. Basically, I wanted to raise it 1 inch front and rear, and I estimated how much I needed to raise the spring mount collar on this based on the car's motion ratio, which I did a really quick rough calculation on, based on a lesson I just watched the other night with these guys, HP Academy. They offer really high quality educational content about how to do anything really automotive related, whether it's like making wire harnesses or building engines like we did with the Evo 6 engine. And they have a bunch of chassis setup and motorsports type of content now as well, including what they call their motorsports alignment course, which is a bit deceiving actually, because yes, it does teach you how to do a motorsports alignment with a string setup, which we'll show you later in this episode, but it also has a ton of great information in that course about how to set ride height, how to adjust ride height, and how to set the shock length correctly so that you have the correct amount of compression and droop travel. So if you want to learn more about that, how to set your ride height properly, and really how to dial in your alignment correctly in a DIY way where you don't need a huge amount of fancy tools, go check that course out. It's I think $129 US for that course, and we have a discount code for $30. So check the link below for that discount code, and that'll get you under that magical $100 mark for that course, which I think is money really well spent, because you'll learn so much about how your chassis works, how to align your car properly, and you won't necessarily have to go get like expensive motorsports grade alignments at a shop. You'll be able to do it yourself if you make a small investment in the equipment you need. And it's really satisfying, I think, to learn how to set up your car and really understand how the suspension works, because it's going to make you better at the racetrack, or just make the car better on the street if that's what you want to, what you're using it for. All right, here we've got our BG Racing string alignment setup. You can see it's got this frame that hangs off the trunk on this side and off the rad support in the front, and it lets you put this post across the back, front and rear, with these grooves cut in it, all the same distance from the center line, and that lets you set up a nice square string. So we've got our BG Racing string alignment all squared up, running through the center lines of the wheels. Measurement from the center of the hub to the string is equal on both sides across the front and rear axles. So that means we can start to take our toe measurements. If you're uninterested in this, by the way, you can just skip ahead a few minutes and you will see the wheel reveal and this car on the ground looking sexy. So if this is not your thing, we get it. Jump ahead. You can have your eye candy there. For the rest of you who actually want to learn something about how to do a DIY toe alignment, then here we go. And by the way, you can set up a string box like this less expensively than a setup like this. You can use jack stands with a piece of conduit across the front and rear of the car on the ground and do the same thing, run the strings through the center line. In fact, if you go and take this HP Academy course, they show you how to build your own DIY setup very affordably. They also show you how to use a more like pro level setup like this. You know, you can spend as much or as little on this kind of setup as you want. So don't be afraid that you have to go buy a bunch of fancy equipment, because you can really do it very affordably. So we got 50 mil from the rear of the wheel, and we have 55 mil at the front. So this wheel is towed out by 5 mil. We want to set 0 toe in the front. So we're going to take that 5 mil out on this side. We'll go and fix the other side, whether it's towed in or out, I don't know. I think it looks towed in on that side actually. So car's kind of steering to the right now. We want it to go straight. So we're going to make some adjustments to the toe length and get this zeroed out. Okay, stop right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice and zeroed out.
Okay. As you guys just saw, these Milwaukee combination wrenches came in real handy there on the outer tie rods to make the adjustment for the toe. And that's because they have these little teeth on here, and that just allows them to fit a little bit more snug. And in this situation here, where everything was tight in the beginning, you know, you normally with a normal wrench, you're sure to strip it. These actually came in super handy there. They kind of like gripped it, and I was able to have enough grip to like spin them off. So if you're in the market for some combination wrenches, definitely check out these Milwaukee ones.
Just doing a quick double check on our toe alignment, and we're showing 52 mil there, and we are showing 52 mil there. So this wheel has 0 toe, that one has 0 toe. So the front now is straight, our steering wheel is still straight. So when we go down the road, it should go straight. And man, this has been the hardest secret for Pete and I to keep for so long. We've been sitting on these for what, a good month or two now?
Oh yeah.
I love these wheels so much. This is such a cool idea. This, in fact, is the wheel setup you wanted me to put on the Flexus.
I did, yes,
and
yes.
I can't fight, I can't hate it. I can't hate you about it, because man, these look so good. This is of course like an homage to the original Mark IV wheel, done by Augment Wheel Company, who did the wheels for the Flexus, as well as for Pete's M5 wagon. He does all kinds of really cool, like modern interpretations of classic OEM wheels, as well as other stuff, but he can build anything you want. And this is his 3-piece forged aluminum design with, you can see the hardware nicely hidden in the back here. Forged 6061, 18 by 10, 40 offset in a 5 by 114 bolt pattern. And I just cannot get over how cool they look with this big chrome lip. It just gives this wheel design, which is always really clean looking wheel design, but it just gives it so much more style and aggression. I absolutely love it. The front is a staggered setup, so it doesn't have as much lip, but it just looks so
cool. It's an 18 by 9 plus 30, and I think that was the whole idea behind the chrome on the headlights and like leaving some of that. Yes. So now people, I think, understand, and the choice for the color as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much contrast.
It's gonna pop so well on here. We'll show you the whole thing in a second, but for tires, we have, of course, gone with Continental's Extreme Contact Sport tire. This is our go-to tire for any street car build these days. It's just such a supremely good tire. It does everything you would want from a 340 treadwear, high performance summer tire. It has a ton of grip. It is the best rain tire in the world in its class. It lasts a long time, and of course it comes with Continental's warranty, which is really quite remarkable what you get from that. And this is a 265, 35, 18 in the rear, and as Pete already mentioned, it's 235 in the front. So we do have a nice staggered look, which I think is just gonna look fantastic on this car. So let's bolt these on here. Let's not delay it any further, PT. Let's give them the full Monty here.
Well guys, fire up those keyboards and let us know what you think, because I personally am beside myself. I think this turned out so much better than I actually expected. Originally, we had this idea of like an OEM plus build, and these wheels just finish everything off. And I think really, there was so many decisions made on this vehicle for that OEM Plus build. Some of you guys were confused. Why we went back to the twins? Why did we leave the front lip not carbon fiber? Like, why did we wrap it? And that is all because I wanted it to tie into this idea of an OEM Plus build, where you see this car rolling down the street and it looks almost like a stock car, but then there's something off about it. And you're like, whoa, check out those wheels. It sounds better, it looks better. So I think we certainly accomplished that. But once again, post in the comments, let us know. One thing to note, Dan went out of his way to actually source, these are OEM center caps for these wheels. And as you can see, he had a hard time getting the finish perfect. And I think what he said, if he's gonna make these in the future, he's just gonna make this out of the billet aluminum that he normally would, just to make this like a perfect finish. I personally don't mind it. I think it kind of looks cool with the OEM, like a little bit of that, like,
sells the OE look, I think.
Yeah, like that sandpapery look. It's not like perfectly finished, but man, these wheels are super cool. And the Supra calipers, like just seeing that in the background, DP, just looks so good. Like I'm pumped. I think the ride height is perfect. It's gonna it might settle a little bit more, but again, it's like not too low. It's perfect for our streets around here, so.
And Dano just messaged me, that's Dano from Augment Wheels, that he does have the new metal billet caps coming in any day now.
Oh, wow, so you guys might actually see these in a future episode, because we'll show you guys a preview of those. So I think we are going to wrap it right now. Again, guys, post in the comments, let me know what you think of the finished product here. We do still have a couple of really minor things to take care of, and we're gonna head to the dyno, so to see what this thing makes for power. And then, who knows, it's gonna go and bring a trailer, someone's gonna auction it off, or whatever's gonna happen, who knows. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you've certainly enjoyed this episode, make sure to give us a thumbs up and think about subscribing and hitting that notification bell. We will see you in the next one, where this thing's gonna make crazy horsepower, people. It's gonna be insane.